What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Brian Costa, and today I have yet another exciting interview for you guys. On this episode today, I am turning to baseball once again, as today I am welcoming in a very special guest of mine. I've known him for a good amount of time now, and I'm really excited to have him on the show today. He is versed in many different areas of the game of baseball, from whether it be from playing, scouting, and coaching. We're going to get to all of that today. So without any further ado, please welcome to the show the coach of the L&M College Prospect Baseball Program, Coach Idris Liasu, better known as Coach E. Coach, how are you doing today?
Hey, thank you for having me on, Brian. It's been exciting to get an opportunity to be on your podcast. I look forward to getting into this. It's been going all right. Christmas was great. We had the opportunity to celebrate it together as a family. Everybody's doing well. So far, it's been crazy out there right now. Rhode Island's been kind of hot, but everything else is getting back to normal from our family side. We're just trying to stay healthy and make sure we keep our community safe.
Absolutely, man. I'm really excited for everything that happened over the Christmas season. Hopefully things can stay safe in your area as well. For anyone who doesn't know, I ended up getting the opportunity to work with Coach E over this last summer as his social media kind of guy. I was, running the Instagram at times, doing little things here and there, doing some player interviews. It was a really great opportunity, and I really thanked him for giving me that opportunity this summer. It was an amazing thing to be able to do, and I'm really glad to be able to talk with him today because, man, just as a baseball individual, he is incredible on what he's been able to bring to the table. But Coach, I'll get into some of your coaching stuff later on in the episode, but I kind of want to take things back to your playing days and how you kind of got started with baseball in general. So for a lot of people, I kind of wonder, when did this love for the game first really start with you? How did you kind of fall in love with the game of baseball?
Well, it was kind of weird. It actually came through failure.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I had an opportunity. Not many people know. I'm a kid that came up from California. I moved out here when I was about 8 years old. I really didn't play too much baseball in California. I did a little t-ball. Then we moved into Rhode Island. My mom got an opportunity to be closer to her family and be part of the Rhode Island chapter of Liasus and Dowdy members. And when I came out here, she put me into a school called St. Pius. I went there for kindergarten, first grade. At that time, I had opportunity to, as most kids, play a lot of pickup wiffle ball in the school, a lot of pickle. We had a great time in the gym. I went to a tryout for like the local T-ball little league. It was in Elmhurst at the time, and I didn't make the major team, which I shouldn't have made it. I just wanted a cool Red Sox jersey, and unfortunately, I was put on like the A's.
Okay.
Being a Cali guy, I should have been excited to get the Oakland A's jersey, but for me, I was like, oh man, I didn't want
You wanted the Red Sox jersey.
I wanted the Red Sox jersey because everybody else had Red Sox hats and Red Sox gear.
Oh, nice.
And so I played one season there, and that was actually pretty fun. It was like a fall little league actually.
Okay, nice.
That following spring, we moved to North End side, and I went to Wansket Boys and Girls Club, and there was signs and promotional pamphlets given out to families about Little League signups. I took an interesting road from there. I did not go to tryouts, and there was a gentleman named Arthur Bernardi who was a gym director, and he was a professional baseball player. He had played for many years. He was a switch hitter, and that's where I got the love of switch hitting from.
Oh yeah,
from Arthur. God bless his soul. He passed away in 98. Um, uh, he had a great life. He was about 82 years old when he passed.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So Arthur had taken me under his wing, threw a lot of wiffle balls to me because, in the gymnasium you can't hit hard balls.
Yeah.
He kind of helped refine my swing on the right side and helped me develop a swing on the left side. And that following year, I ended up trying out for the local little league, ended up doing well, got drafted pretty high, and played in North End for a couple years, and then went off to play at Babe Ruth in Rhode Island. Providence Babe Ruth was pretty aggressive. I actually was one of the few young kids that was able to play earlier in their life. I played at like 12 when most kids were 13.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And had an opportunity to play. Lou G, the president at the time, gave my mom an opportunity to let me play because they knew me from the area. I was, as you can see me on the field, I was even worse as a kid. I was a pest. I wouldn't get off the field. I'd stay on it for hours, playing home run derby, doing ground balls. It was. I just loved being at the yard. I grew up with a single mom, so me and my friends get an opportunity to play and hang out and do productive things. Made me a really big baseball fan, and it gave me a lot of excitement to be able to do that. So I made a lot of cool relationships through baseball at a young age, and it was one of the few outlets that kept me out of trouble other than the Boys and Girls Club.
That's
Boys and Girls Club had a lot more restraints on me. I had to do a lot more things to be part of the Boys and Girls Club fraternity. So baseball gave me a little more freedom to just do my own thing and hang out and make some cool lifetime friends.
That's actually really cool. So you talked about Arthur as one of those key guys that was able to help you out in your development. Who were some other individuals that could be maybe coaches, some teammates and mentors of yours that really helped you when you really understood the game of baseball better and kind of got more into it? Who were some mentors and individuals who really helped you elevate your craft?
Well, there was a big group of mentors for me. One of my biggest would be when I got to about, like I said, I was a big pest in the neighborhood. So Providence College was really popping and going heavy when I was young. That was right before they got rid of Providence College baseball program. So Coach Costi was the head coach at Providence College at the time. He knew my background. He knew my mom. I was at the field every day. I would ride my bike there, and
that's incredible.
We would just hang out and watch practice. I was there so much he made me the bat boy. He was just like, "E, come into the dugout," and he had me hanging around with the guys, and they actually helped form my development.
That's amazing.
He actually brought me into some of his different winter workouts that he held. I was able to have kind of an open branch to coming to all practices. He took a job in Maine, and Coach Hickey, Charlie Hickey, who's the head coach now at Central Connecticut, took over as the head coach at Providence College, and he kept that going for me as well. Afforded me the opportunity to come and train with them and work out with them. Hickey was probably one of the big pieces for me because not only did he allow me to do the baseball thing, he actually opened my eyes to what it means to be mentally tough. Because I got to see how he ran his army. Literally ran his army. He ran his program like it was a service academy. The guys were very militant with their training. They did a lot of miles. They did a lot of strength and conditioning. They put in a lot of sweat equity into becoming a really, really sound oiled machine. And being around that just like opened my eyes so much to like, wow, the possibilities are endless if you work hard.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things that he had showed me was if you work hard, you can achieve anything.
Absolutely. I mean, I can already, I can definitely tell from what you have within your program now. It's definitely something that you can see parallels between. What I kind of wondered is for yourself then, you talked about mental toughness. What was maybe one of the tougher aspects that you had to learn and adapt with as you were kind of going up and, you know, dealing with that army, as you like to, as you put it? What was maybe one of the more difficult things that you had to deal with them? And like kind of getting ready for that.
Right. So growing up in Providence, our resources and our reach to certain things that most kids wouldn't have was a little different.
Okay.
We had to be creative. My mom was an amazing mom. She provided me opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had if she didn't believe in sports and keeping me out of trouble. So she involved me in a couple of different select teams. I played for the Rhode Island Sultans, which was a premier baseball team that
Okay.
was based off of high-end college kids. I'm sorry, inspiring college baseball players, but mostly like all staters. There was guys like Brian Beach, Jason Henderson, um, Chris. Um, we had a catcher by the name of Vega that went to St. Ray's. We
Okay.
had some weapons that played some really high-end baseball when they went to college, and I was able to be part of that group. Coach I can't say enough about Mike Quarrell because he didn't have to take on a little kid from Providence in the city to be part of that group. But he brought me in because he knew the love that I had for the game and had me around that when I was a freshman. And that really helped me out immensely. And I said the reason that my love of baseball enhanced so much was because I had failure. This was probably the first time in my life where I didn't do well. Like it came so natural to me, but then I went to that field. I learned how to adapt. I was an infielder, middle infielder, catcher, growing all the way up. I was
Wow.
sent to right field on that team just because those guys were just that much better, and I was just not that strong at that time. I also batted like 9th and 10th in the lineup, which I wasn't accustomed to doing. I typically batted. I batted first, second, third in my lineup everywhere I played. Um, then I had to figure out how to survive on that field because that was probably the first time I actually saw high velocity for me. I was seeing guys that were throwing 80 to 85, and how do I put the ball in play? How do I get on base? How do I manufacture? When I get on base, how do I not be scared to steal a bag? Like things have changed for me on that big field playing against the older guys. It actually molded me into becoming a tougher player and refining the little intricacies of what I'm trying to do with the game.
Absolutely. There's a huge adjustment that a lot of guys have to go to, especially when you see guys finally throwing 80, 85, and it's like, wow, like people don't like
it was different.
There is like it like for some reason just like I obviously not exactly, but 79 and then 80, it just something just happens when you start seeing that 8 on that on the radar gun. It just it starts to feel a little more real.
Yeah, it gets on you a little differently.
Yeah, absolutely. So and you kind of have to learn and adapt a little bit more, which is something that's which is something you kind of have to do. I guess then obviously I looked in your bio and you were able to play at least a little bit in college and get some experience there.
Yeah.
I guess what I kind of wonder is I've talked to a bunch of athletes about this. Some of yours actually I've spoken to about this. I did an interview with Sean Burke back during the summer, and I talked to him about this. And I asked him, I was like, well, when did it click for you that you might be able to play in college? And he ended up saying, well, I was about 9 and I hit one out of a little league field and I like hit one like 50 feet over the wall. And he was like, that was probably a good time where I was like, okay, I might have a shot at this. I was like, okay, fair enough. But for you, were you did you consider yourself more of a late bloomer, or did you kind of know a little bit earlier than most that you might have a chance to play, in college and have a chance at that?
Yeah, I was actually a pretty good athlete in high school. I played
Yeah,
at one time I was doing 4 sports at once. I was doing cross country,
that's
football.
amazing.
I didn't go to cross country practice. I would just show up for the meets.
Yeah,
Football. Thank you, Miss Lima, for hooking me up with that, allowing me to leave cross country to do football.
yeah,
Then I played basketball and baseball, and
yeah. They
I played at Mount Pleasant High School, which was probably the reason why I am today a baseball coach.
hmm
'Cause that gave me my first opportunity to actually coach. JV coach had gotten hurt, and our interim JV coach, Coach Coleman, never really coached baseball before.
hmm
And I was a varsity starting infielder for my team, and Coach Coleman needed help, and I was excited to be able to teach and develop those guys. And
That's amazing.
he gave me the infield, and he let me teach them how to bunt. He allowed me to run my gamut of baseball development. That was probably my sophomore year of high school. I was teaching freshmen and sophomores how to play
Jeez.
baseball as a sophomore, maybe junior year.
That is
So shout
crazy.
out to Coleman for hooking me up with my starting coaching.
Yeah, I mean, also shout out for being able to play 4 sports at once in high school. They won't even allow you to do that anymore. Like,
Nah.
like if you want to, like a kid can't be on the golf and football team at our school anymore. Like you'll get
No.
you'll get like the MIAA all over you. It'll be like a whole like commotion. Like you can't even do that anymore. Like I wish they'd allow you to be able to play more sports like that. But
It's
that's
because you
incredible.
miss so much practice. Like
Yeah, that is
the,
the thing.
the
You would miss a
divide
lot.
is too great. Like my cross country coach was awesome. She's like, "You're getting your conditioning in football. I don't care. You want to run? Go ahead and run." I did that for 2 years, and then Coach Hickey said, "You're not putting on any weight. You might want to quit playing doing cross country." And then at that time, I made the decision to give up cross country and football and just focus on basketball and baseball.
Mhm. Yeah. So then for yourself, obviously, when you ended up getting more into baseball and then playing at the college level, it's something that you help a lot of kids with now. For a lot of kids that maybe are going into college right now and going for that, what is probably the biggest adjustment that maybe they don't even realize that they have to make? Obviously, you're going to see faster speeds. You're going to see more guys that were probably the stars of their teams now being able to play with you. And, in college, it does narrow down a significant portion of the players that you're going to see from high school to now.
Right.
What is like one of the things that you would say a lot of kids, maybe don't expect when they go off to college and see and get involved in that for the first time?
Well, biggest thing is level of competition. Everybody
Yeah.
is good. Like you're not the big fish in a little pond anymore. Like
Yeah.
I went from being a public school kid at Mount Pleasant to going to CCRI playing against the likes of Pedro Martinez's nephew.
Oh, wow.
Came in from Dominican Republic, Oliver Arias, and he was a right-handed pitcher that had some really good stuff. We had 6 guys drafted on our junior college team my freshman year.
That's crazy.
We hit over 96 home runs that year as a ball club. So I came in thinking I was good and realized real fast that I'm not very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest piece that I had to make to my game, was just getting stronger and
Yeah.
not letting the pace of the game eat me up. It's not that it was too fast. It was more that the timing was very fast.
Yeah.
So like you just had to be on time with everything that you did. And that whole fall, that was like the biggest growing moment for me. The coolest thing that I could say about college was it gave you a lot of freedom to figure out stuff.
Yes.
I learned how to become a better player. I was a lot better student in college than I was in high school. High school, I truly got by being a kind person and being very social. College, you're kind of a social security number. You got to get your work done, and and do what you need to do to stay eligible on the field.
Yeah.
For me, I had that free time, and CCRI gave us a lot of support, and our coaches made us do study hall. And, there was a lot of commitment that it took to play college baseball.
Yeah.
People don't realize the hours you have to put in the study hall, the weight room time you have to put in, and the practice time that you have to put in. On top of trying to build relationships with kids that are trying to take your spot every day, or you're trying to take someone else's spot every day.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, for yourself, you talked about having to, you talked about having to gain strength and get more power later on as you moved into college. How did you end up getting to do that? What was your regimen like when you realized, okay, I have to do this? Like, how did you go about overcoming this obstacle?
So I was blessed. My high school coach, um, Guglielmo, really gave me the foundation on how to be a runner. So I knew a lot of stuff from doing baseball with him, because he was an explosive runner, and he taught me how to move. We had a lot of team speed. I wasn't the strongest kid, so I ended up, like I said, my mom provided me a lot of resources to be able to do this. And it's so weird how life works. One of my teammates went to a guy by the name of Andy, and it's called Big Man's Gym. In his basement, it was a hole in the wall, but that guy took me under his wing and put on some weight on me. He taught me how to lift. He taught me how to eat better. And I loved working, so I was a worker. So it almost been like an extension of my second home. I'd go to practice at CCRI. After that, I'd just get in my car and get to the gym, go home, do homework, and do it all over again. I did that for like 3 years. And I thank my teammate Rob Reyes for really introducing me to him, because he didn't have to give me his contact info and help me in that process. So I'm forever tied to Big Man's Gym because of Rob, and Big Man gave me some great values that I use today.
That's amazing. So obviously for yourself, you were able to enjoy the perks of playing college baseball, as my dad likes to call it. He likes to call it playing bonus baseball, because beyond high school, nothing is ever guaranteed, and you never really know. So for yourself, when and this is something that kind of happens for anyone, regardless of how far you make it in a baseball career or any sports career, you can make it to the heights of stardom in Major League Baseball and have a 20-year long all-star studded career. But for everyone, it does eventually come to an end, for some people sooner rather than later. When it came to yourself, when did you realize, all right, I'm probably gonna end up, stop playing now, and I'm going to, transition to a new period in my life? Like, when did that, become something that you had to like kind of grasp and deal with?
When I started to want to coach more, I started coaching in my junior college, like for real. My junior year of high school, I coached a couple of my little friends and peers that I coached in the JV team. Shout out to my guy Arthur Nato, who ran the Rhode Island Comets at the time. His friend Bello took me in as one of the PCD head coaches, and I ran the PCD Connie Mack team. He was the head coach on paper, but I did all the work. So I had a couple of young kids that I brought over from Mount Pleasant and Central High School to play with the PCD kids and the East Providence kids. And we really had a good run, and we played some really high-end baseball for what we had to our disposal. Dickerman had a tremendous field at PCD that we were allowed to use. That field was a short porch to right, so I really honed in on the Ahapo approach and took advantage of that 270-foot wall with my team, where other teams were trying to launch balls to post side. We just peppered balls over the short fence the other way.
You love to see it.
So to answer your question, I know it was a little long-winded.
Good.
I wanted to get into coaching when I got to college. I played at CCRI for 2 years, and the year that I didn't go to my transfer fell through to Barry College in 2003. I ended up coming back to start my college coaching career.
Oh, wow.
I was the assistant coach at the CCRI team. I worked with the outfielders, infielders, and I loved it. The coaches took me right under their wing. The players gave me the respect that they would give every other coach. They were actually amazing because I was so close in age that was a challenge, but my teammates and my coaching staff didn't make it a challenge.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year. The next year, I ended up coaching. Um, the next year I ended up going to Bethany College in Kansas.
Oh, wow.
In Lynchburg, Kansas. It's the old Swedes, man. Those people are amazing. They really show you out there. I had a great time in college in Kansas. It was definitely a surreal moment for me being a city kid to go into Kansas. I learned a lot about myself there, and you have a lot of soul searching to do when you're truly by yourself. You can't just get in the car and go home. Just you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you got to grind and survive. So I went to
crazy.
Yeah, I went to an NAIA school, knowing that was my last opportunity to play baseball. They gave me a great scholarship, a great package. It was life-changing for me and my mom, and to be able to get that opportunity was a blessing. I stayed there for 3 years. I did my student teaching there. I actually was an education major and a psychology major, all things that I wanted to use for my future plans. I've always knew I wanted to coach. I wanted to play the highest level of baseball I possibly could, but I've always wanted to coach baseball at the high level. I knew that was my thing. I've just loved it since I was a young kid.
Yeah. So what exactly did make you just want to give back to like the next generation? What part of that was like, so like what did you really like? What like how did you what did you really value in that? Like why did you really gravitate towards it specifically? Just because you got into it such an early age, or?
Well, there's three parts to that. One was I needed something that was going to keep me in the game. Come here.
Yeah.
I needed something that was going to keep me in the game because when I started to get a little older, I started to have these little things. My guy Noah,
Hey, what's up, Noah?
When I had Noah, I decided it was time to change the landscape of what I'm doing, and I got out of college baseball, and I did a little bit of travel training and youth development. That was when I started to coach camps, and I saw how the teams were being ran with their local Legion teams and their local AAU and travel teams. So I said, well, there's a need here. I had a couple of players come up to me and say, Coach E, if you start a team, we'll all play for you. And that's how L&M actually became a real thing. And that came from our training group that we had for like 2 years. And it gave me an opportunity to be a dad and be around my babies. Two, service the Rhode Island youth and make them a better player. And three, it gave me a chance to build relationships with college coaches and work at staying in the game. I didn't ever think that L&M was going to. I didn't think L&M was ever going to turn into the program that it was today. I actually thought I was going to get back into college baseball a few times, and it just wasn't the right fit for what I was looking for my family and for me. The relocations and the jobs weren't the ideal situation. And then we're 10 years in now.
No, it's incredible. You guys have been going for 10 years strong, which is incredible to see. I guess, starting your own baseball program just kind of from the ground up, that's got to be a lot to just like do, just kind of like getting thrown into that in 2012. What was that kind of whole experience like, having to start up an entire new program? Just, just kind of, I mean, you had obviously people by your side to help you, but when it came to, starting a program, getting facilities in check, getting everything ready, what, like, how was that whole process?
I was so blessed. I had three major pieces into my circle. One was my brother, the M in L&M baseball, Brad Muldoon, who really helped me with the organizational side. He was with Perfect Game for many years. He's ran
Oh wow,
Team
yeah.
Connecticut. He ran about
Hmm.
two different travel teams himself.
Yeah,
So he gave me a good blueprint on how we're going to attack this. Two was Alberto Guzman and Chris D'Andino.
okay.
Alberto Guzman was submerged in the Rhode Island baseball youth community. His kid grew up through the baseball ranks with L&M. He wanted to make sure that I had opportunity to be able to meet the people that could help me grow. He introduced me to Chris, the owner of All About Sports, and they worked out a great deal for me to be able to go there and train.
That's
And
amazing.
Chris has been so instrumental in helping our program grow. Without his kindness and his open hands to my program, L&M probably wouldn't have been able to last the times it lasted.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tough days that he endured with things going on in his personal business at All About Sports, but he never let it affect my program and other people's program. He
That's
built it to
amazing.
service the community, and he truly was a asset for us, as well as I like to call him my silent partner because what he did for me was a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible what you've been able to do with that program. I mean, I've been able to see it myself, as my brother's been able to go through the program, and I mean, he's been able to have tremendous growth, as in great part because of what you guys are able to provide there. I mean, I mentioned earlier on the show, Sean Burke, a guy that, came through your program, ended up just getting drafted by the White Sox this year. You guys have been able to help a lot of people, and a lot of people reach their dreams of playing baseball at the next level, whether that be college or then even trying to get into the pros. How does it feel for yourself that, when you started it up, obviously, you don't really know what's going to happen, but now looking back on
I
it and
knew I had
seeing,
an animal. I knew I had an animal. The first year we
yeah,
had the program, we had we
yeah,
had
yeah.
12 kids get opportunities to play in college. Matt Baer went to UMass Amherst.
Okay.
Dylan Boyce Clare went to Millersville. Michael Courtney went to UMass Boston. Nick Crivello went to Curry College. Mike Gallagher went to Rawlings College. Neil Hart went to Roger Williams.
So you kind of knew from early on that you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
that
Like
this was going to be a thing. Like,
I had high end clientele that really could play,
mhm,
and they wanted to train at a different level. And
yeah,
that's what I always wanted to be, was different in the training. Like for
yeah,
me, training is everything. I ran it as a college prep program
hmm,
because that's the only thing that I really valued, was
yeah,
being able to get to the college level. It's not to knock youth baseball. It's not to knock high school baseball. It just takes a lot to be able to play college baseball. And
yes,
most kids don't know the recipe. And the
hmm,
recipe's simple. You put the time in, you work hard, you put your nose down, and you get one day better every day you get to the field. And
yeah.
if you do that, it'll take care of itself.
No, it 100% has. I can definitely see how it's been able to help so many people. I mean, I wasn't ever even on one of your teams, but I came in for lessons, I think, a couple times during my senior year, and I was able to see, growth in just the couple times I came in with you. So it's incredible what you guys are able to do with your program. I mean, it really
Well, you're a
is.
different kid, man. You were super strong and twitchy.
Yeah,
Your stuff was easy. I wish I got you earlier. If I
I mean,
got you earlier,
I wish I did too. I mean, I don't know. I remember you got me in there. I had, that was a time, man. But no, that was really good. But I'm trying to think. I know for trying to shoot, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, but no, getting in there. I mean, you guys have been able to help a lot of people kind of just reach their potential and do a lot of stuff, which is amazing. And I think what kind of helps with that is your coaching style. I mean, I know for a lot of people nowadays, like when you're coaching your guys, I can see you're honest with them about what they need to improve on, and you'll tell them, hey, if something isn't right, like you'll tell them, hey, like you need to fix this, otherwise like you won't be able to do this. And it's good because but you're able to be honest with your players and tell them whether something is good or not, but you also provide them the opportunities and the resources to improve upon their game and get better. Because typically you either see a coach that maybe won't be honest with their players, will be like, oh, it's all right, man, you'll get there, you'll be just fine, and then they don't materialize. Or you see the people who will do that, will be brutally honest, and then will basically just shut down emotionally on a guy. You are the perfect combo where I think you're really able to effectively communicate with these guys and tell them where they need to improve on their game, and then provide, obviously the resources through All About and everything with yourself. It's amazing.
Well, I appreciate it. And the next chapter is just getting better. I don't know how much you've been keeping up with, but right now we partnered with Axis Athletic Performance, which platform was created by my good friend Mike Roos with the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
He's the Boston Red Sox player development guy. He works their strength department, and he's been so instrumental in getting our guys better. I've always valued finding the right coaches, and that's been one of my biggest pieces. I've been through a lot of different strength coaches and seen a lot of different guys. What Mike has able to do with my group has been amazing. And Mike couldn't do it alone. Our day-to-day strength coach, Kyle Boulier, was a former L&M alumni. Shout out Coach B. He's been killing it the last 3.5 months with our guys. And he's made our youth guys so much stronger. I'm so excited for the future with this youth program that we created in 2019. Because we feel that youth baseball is synonymous with L&M growth. If we can get that youth chapter right, everything else is going to take care of itself. The earlier that I find these players and I'm able to work with them and they put sweat equity in, the easier their road is going to be. Just think about your brother's path. He never faulted. It was hard work after hard work. He put in his time, and it paid off. The values that he created from a young age is what is going to carry him through the dog days of college, where most kids come into college for the first time and having to work hard, and it takes them an adjustment period. He's going to be on the ground floor, ready to go. Like, as soon as he shows up, all right, let's go. I know what to do. Like, he's ready. And that's what the youth chapter is going to become for us. Like, it's going to be our ground floor. And when they get to 13U, 14U, they're going to be ready for what it's going to take to get to travel baseball and really showcase yourself out. Showing off the biggest piece. Anxiety kills kids. And if the sooner that I can put them in an anxiety state and give them failure, the sooner they can grow. They have to be able to deal with failure. And that's the one thing that I preach every day is, if you guys can deal with failure, if you guys can deal with me bopping you on the head with failure and building you up with love and confidence, and you can embody the work, you're going to grow. The tone is just a tone. The message is the key. If you can really focus on the message and really buy into the plan and love what you do, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely, Coach. It was a blast being able to talk to you about your coaching career. Before we do end up going down to the wire and finishing this off, I do want to speak to you about the third facet of your baseball career and knowledge, which was your career in scouting. And that was something I kind of found to be really interesting. It kind of makes a little more sense now, because I remember seeing, oh, you were I'm looking at your bio and I see, oh, he's a scout for the LA Angels. And I was like, very interesting move for a guy that, has lived out here for his entire life. But knowing that you have that California connection, it kind of makes a little more sense. How did you kind of get into scouting, and especially with the Angels? Like, how did that all come about, though?
I'm gonna give you the short version of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you still got some stuff that you have on your table. Bryant, go Dogs. We're gonna see them try to get a dub today.
Absolutely.
So my good friend Ryan Leahy was the area scout for the LA Angels in this region.
Okay.
We actually don't go to California to scout players. We look at players in New England territory. And his job was to look at kids in the Northeast. I helped him, and several other guys helped him to identify talent and give him information on players that he needed to know about. I had a pretty interesting role with him because me and him had an opportunity to coach with each other in the Cape for the Harwich Mariners. We won the championship that year when I was down in Cape. That was my pre-retirement to college coaching. And we had a blast working together. He was a guy that played at Boston College and then played pro ball. And then after pro ball, went to coaching in college at the D1 level, and then got into scouting after coaching. He actually called me and said, I need a couple of guys in that area. And I know that you know what you're doing, and I need someone that can give me some good insight in what they see on infielders. And biggest thing is identifying the talent. He allowed me to use my travel program as a platform to be able to search for the talent as well as see what's going on and with the prospects. And then he also sent me to some cool events. I went to the Rivalry Classic. I went down to Fenway a few times. I went to Pawtucket to work on seeing the difference between high-level guys and high school guys, because you have to keep yourself fresh. Pro ball is a different animal. So being able to see the pro guys and what they look like and how they do things with ease, and then going back into the youth sector and high school sector, being able to see what intricate things that they can do from a ease standpoint, such as throwing the ball, running, fielding, power potential, being able to figure out if that kid is actually a pro was kind of cool. You can see the high level play. It's easy to see that guy. It's hard to see the Sean Burks. Like he's 6'1", dangly, awkward a little bit when he first started. Then he turned 15. He's starting to become a good athlete. Now he's dunking. Then he becomes a freak athlete, got strong.
It's like 6'6" now.
Right. Like seeing him in high school, you didn't know what was going to happen. Like you saw him and you was like, all right, he's got a power bat, but he has good stuff on the mound. And no one really knew what his role was going to be. But that was a fun evaluation for me. I got a chance to write a report on him, and got a chance to write a report on a couple of my guys, and
that's awesome.
It was cool to be able to put them in the hat.
Yeah. When it comes to evaluating talent like that, obviously you've been able to see a lot of young guys through coaching and other aspects growing up, obviously being involved with guys since your sophomore year of high school. So you're able to understand like the development of certain guys. Obviously when there's a guy like hitting the ball like 450 feet over the wall, it's like, okay, like that guy can probably play. Right. It's like, and like there are obviously certain things where you see a guy on a mound like just like pumping 98. It's like, okay, this guy can pitch. Like, and there are like things that are obvious that like physically are obvious, but what are some other attributes that maybe not a lot of people look at that you kind of would try to look for in certain players?
How he handles with his teammates, how he handles with his parents, his interactions with mom when she brings him the wrong Gatorade, how he interacts with his coaches, his work ethic. Like these things are all stuff that you have to know about a guy that's going to be in the dog days of pro baseball, because it's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Does he love it? Like, do you really love it? Like, you could be good, but if you don't love it, you're a bad investment because you're not going to last. Arm strength's easy. Power's easy. the heart is the hardest challenge. Heart and brain, figuring out what the kid's heart is and what his brain is. If his makeup stinks, if his makeup's amazing, if he has the makeup and he has the tools and he has what we call the it factor, which means like he just gets it, he'll be able to move levels.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. And then I guess then for kind of wrapping that up, then for maybe some players that are like on the fringe that are trying to get that recognition. And as you mentioned some great things as to how they should handle themselves and do things like that. For some of those players that maybe are trying to get noticed by people and are trying to get that validation and get recognized, what are some of the things that then you recommend, like how they handle themselves and how they do
put up numbers, man?
Yeah.
Straight up, put up numbers in college, put up numbers in high school. To today's special day and age, like you can get signed on social media. Like, put out your content, ride or die with what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and sell yourself.
Yeah.
If you think that you're a pro, there's so many events that pop up. Go down to one of those private independent workouts. There's major league teams there all the time.
Yeah.
Show up. Do well. If you do well, someone will like you. If someone likes you, now you get a contract. It's not hard. It's just a lot of work.
Absolutely.
You also have to be talented. If you're not talented,
you're
just going there for glorified fun.
Exactly.
But if you're talented, you got an opportunity to do some special things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that a lot of guys have to look at, and it definitely, I mean, I appreciate it, Coach. It has been an absolute blast talking today about all facets of your game, and I really appreciate you coming on today. But unfortunately, now we are down to the wire, which means that we're going to do a little run through of what we talked about in today's episode, little kind of speed round of kind of wrapping things up, and we will send you guys off into the day, hopefully having a good day on that. Obviously, thank you so much to Coach Idris Liasu, better known as Coach E, for coming on to today's episode. Coach, so glad to have you today. It was an absolute blast having Coach on today. We were able to talk about both his from his playing career to his coaching career and his scouting days with the Angels. It was a blast getting a chance to talk with him, and we thank him for having us on the show today. But listen, we have many opportunities like this on this show to get people on and interview them like this. So if you guys are interested in watching any other additional episodes of Down to the Wire, either ones that I posted or ones coming out in the future, you guys can find that basically anywhere you stream podcasts. You can find my podcast, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, YouTube, you can find it. But the main hub that you guys can reach us through is our Instagram. You can follow that at down.tothewire on Instagram. Again, at down.tothewire on Instagram. Coach, I'll let you shout anything out for yourself, whether that be L&M baseball or whatnot, for people to get in touch with that if they're interested. And then we'll sign off.
Well, please feel free to check our website out, lnm-baseball.com, LNM Baseball 12 on the Instagram and Twitter. We really appreciate you having us on to give us an opportunity to talk about our program. There's a lot more stuff coming. 10-year anniversary is about to get blown up, and we're really excited to tell everybody about what's coming up. And we're going to have some cool announcements coming up shortly. So hopefully I can get you on my live feed and get you guys up to date with what's going on with us.
Absolutely, Coach. If you ever need any help with that, be happy to help. But from Down to the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
Coach E.
And we hope that you guys have an amazing day. Take care. Peace out.